Hi everyone, welcome to the One Stop Spreadsheet's Ultimate Progress Tracker tutorial. This template is designed to help you track your daily activities, measure your progress, and stay consistent with your goals in a simple and effective way. Whether you're tracking fitness, productivity, self-improvement, or other activities, this template makes it easy to track and analyze your progress. In this video, I'll walk you through each section of the template, show you how to set it up, and share tips to help you get the most out of it. Let's get started. When you purchase the spreadsheet, you're going to get access to this PDF. This PDF will provide you access to this video tutorial and the spreadsheet template that you'll be able to make a copy of and start editing. So let's take a look at the spreadsheet now. Just click here to make a copy of the spreadsheet. First, make sure you're signed into your Google account. Once you're signed in, you should see this page. Click on Make a Copy. And after a few seconds, your copy of the spreadsheet will appear. Now you can go up here and rename the spreadsheet. Click 3 times on this text to select the entire name, and then enter the name you want to give your copy. I'm going to name mine 2025 Progress Tracker and hit Enter. Next, click on File and then Settings and select your time zone from the drop-down here. And then click on Save Settings. For the best user experience, I recommend using the Google Chrome browser on your computer when using the spreadsheet. If you want to use your mobile device, make sure to tap on the 3 dots in the top right corner of the Google Sheets app and choose View in Light Theme. Before we get started, I'd like to point out that the amount of space the main area of the spreadsheet takes up on your screen may vary depending on your screen size. In my case, I have a large screen, so I see some extra white space. We can adjust this by modifying the zoom setting. You can experiment with the values until you find one that works best for you. In my case, if I type 150 and hit Enter, the spreadsheet fits perfectly on my screen. Also, if you'd like to see more of the spreadsheet and less of the Google Sheets UI, you can go to View and select Full Screen. To exit full screen mode at any time, simply press the Escape key on your keyboard. You'll notice the spreadsheet has multiple tabs. This Quick Start Guide tab, which includes tips, common issues and how to resolve them, a link to the video tutorial, and some contact information. Then we have the Setup tab where you'll define your activities and their goals. The 12 monthly tabs where you'll enter your progress for each month. An Annual Dashboard tab that gives you an overview of your annual stats. An Analytics tab that gives you a detailed overview of individual activities. A Comparison tab that you can use to compare your progress in different months and weeks for individual activities, and a Terms of Use tab with some important information you should review on your own time. Now let's take a look at the Setup tab. First, I'm going to show you which parts are editable and which parts shouldn't be edited to avoid breaking the formulas. Only clear cells like this one are editable. The only editable parts in this tab are the start date and streak carryover, these cells where you'll input your activity names and their associated units, and these goal cells. The rest of the sheet is auto-populated. All cells with formulas are protected so you don't accidentally change or delete them. If you edit a cell that shouldn't be modified, like this one, you'll see a warning pop up that lets you know you're trying to edit a part of the sheet that shouldn't be changed accidentally. If you see this warning, make sure you click on Cancel. The first thing we're going to do is double-click here and pick our start date from the date picker that pops up. Today's date is shown here, so if you want to start as of today, you can choose this day as your start date. The end date is automatically populated, which is always the last day of the year you start tracking. You'll also see how many days you have left in this year here. Underneath, the template will show you how many activities you're tracking. Since we haven't entered any activities, this number is currently showing 0. The streak carryover option allows you to choose whether you want your streaks to carry over from one month to the next. If you want individual streak stats for each month, then you can set this option to no. I'm going to leave mine set to yes. Now let's scroll down and define the activities we want to track. I'll simply type my first activity name here in this cell. I'm going to track my sleep hours, so I'll enter sleep here. And underneath, in front of unit, I'll put down the unit of measurement I'm using to track my activity. In this case, I want to measure my sleep in hours, so I'll simply type hours here. If we look above, you'll notice that the template now shows the number of activities as 1. Now let's move on to setting our sleep goals. This template offers 2 different ways to set goals. The first one is here in the Setup tab. If I enter my goals here under the days of the month, these numbers will get populated in all monthly tabs starting from the start date. I'm going to set my goal to 7.5 hours, so I'll simply type 7.5 here and press enter. Because I want this same goal for every day of the month, I'll simply click on this little circle here and drag my mouse to the last day under 31. As you can see, 7.5 gets populated in each cell. Now let's take a quick look at the monthly tabs. If I click on the March tab and scroll to the activities section, you'll notice that sleep is shown here with hours as its unit. Then in front, in these colored cells, the goals we set are all showing up. Because I set my start date to March 16th, the goals only populate from March 16th onwards, as you can see here. If we look up here, you can see that the template shows that we've set 16 goals for this month. If we go to the month of April, you'll notice that the goals are populated there as well, but since April has 30 days, the goals are only populated up to the 30th of the month. Now let's go back to the Setup tab and add a few more activities. Let's say I want to track my water intake, so I'll type drink water here as the activity name, and for the unit, I'll put down bottles. You can enter liters or cups or whatever other unit of measurement you want here. The purpose of the unit is just for you to remember how you're tracking your activities. I'll set my water goal to 5, and because I want the same goal for every day of the month, I'll simply click on the circle and drag it all the way to the end. If your goals vary from day to day, you can simply type them in manually instead of using the drag method. This allows you to set different goals for different days of the month based on your specific needs. As you've seen, the goals you enter in the Setup tab get populated across all monthly tabs. For the next activity, I'm going to show you the second method of goal setting, which allows you to customize goals for individual days within specific months. Let's say I'm going to track the distance I walk every day, and I'm going to measure it in kilometers. I'm going to set my baseline to 6 kilometers a day, so I'll type 6 and drag it to the end. Now, if we go to the March tab, let's say I want to set my goal for next Saturday and Sunday to 8 kilometers. What we're going to do is scroll down to row 210 to the custom goal section. As you can see, the activities and units we've defined are shown here. And up here, you have a smart calendar which shows you the days and weeks of the month, and today's date is highlighted like this. Now I can use the calendar here to locate the cell where I'll enter my custom goal. If you click on the day in the calendar where you want to enter your goal, you'll see the column it's under get highlighted. Here I have column AF highlighted. Now, if I click on column AF, it will show me this guide that I can use to locate the cell I'm looking for. So here, in the cell in front of walk, I will enter 8 for my Saturday goal and 8 right next to it for my Sunday goal. Now, if we scroll up, we'll see that the goals for next Saturday and Sunday have been overridden with the custom goals we set below. If you don't want to set a goal for a specific activity, you can use the custom goals section to set that activity's goal to 0 for any given day. For example, I can set my walking goal to 0 for tomorrow, and when we scroll up, as you can see, that goal doesn't show up here, so it won't affect your progress. Keep in mind, when you enter a value in custom goals, it only affects that specific monthly tab and not the other months. If you want to copy your custom goals from one month to another, you can do so either for any individual activity or for multiple activities. I'm going to quickly show you both ways. First, I'm going to add some more custom goals. Now, if I only want to copy the custom goals for walking, I'll click on the first goal cell, hold Shift down, and click on the last goal cell. Then right-click on the selection and choose Copy. I'll then go to April, and in front of that same activity name, right-click on the first custom goal cell and choose Paste Special, and then Values Only. Always make sure you use the Values Only option when pasting, and never paste directly as that can break the formatting. Also, never cut and paste any data in the sheet. If you ever make a mistake during the copy-pasting process, make sure you press Command-Z on Mac or Control-Z on Windows to undo your changes. Now, as you can see, April only has 30 days, unlike March, which has 31 days. If you look here, you can see that the custom goal cells for the 31st day of the month are not clear colored, indicating that you should not enter a goal here since April doesn't have 31 days. So in such a case, you'll want to delete the goals for the days that aren't present in that month. To clear a cell, simply select it and hit backspace or delete on your keyboard. Now I'm going to revert my changes and show you how you can copy-paste multiple goals into a different month. I'll go back to March, and in this example, I will copy the custom goals for all of my activities. I'll click on the first goal cell for my first activity, then hold Shift and click on the last goal cell for the last activity. Now you can see all of my custom goals are selected. So I'll right-click on the selection and choose Copy. Then I can go to April and right-click on the first goal cell for the first activity and choose Paste Special, Values Only. And lastly, I can delete all of the goals under the 31st day of the month, since April only has 30 days. To delete multiple goals, I can use the same selection technique I showed you earlier. So I'll click on the first cell, then hold Shift, and click on the last goal cell that I want to delete. Then I'll just hit backspace or delete on my keyboard. And that's it. This is how you can easily copy your custom goals over to the future months. Now you've seen the two ways you can set goals in this template. The general goals in the Setup tab allow you to enter goals for each day of the month, and these automatically populate across all monthly tabs, making it easy to get started quickly. The custom goals at the bottom of each monthly tab give you the flexibility to adjust your targets for any activity on any specific day, allowing you to tailor the template exactly to your needs. I'm going to go back to the Setup tab and enter a few more activities and set their goals. I've now finished entering all my activities and their goals. Before we move on, there's just one more thing I'd like to mention. So at the very bottom, I entered an activity for tracking volunteer work hours. Because that would not be a daily activity for me, but instead something I do every few months, I did not enter any goals for this activity in the Setup tab, since the goals I enter here would populate in all the monthly tabs. Instead, for this activity, I'm only going to enter the goals in the monthly custom goal sections. For example, you can see I added a goal of 2 hours to the last day of March. So that is something you can do as well. You don't have to set the goals in the Setup tab at all. You can only use the monthly custom goal sections depending on your needs. Now let's dive into the monthly tabs. I'm going to go to the March tab, and if you're starting in another month, make sure you go to that monthly tab. Now I'll show you how you can enter your actual progress numbers. Entering your actual progress numbers is very simple. If we scroll to the activities section, you'll see that above your goals, there are these empty clear cells. This is where you'll enter your actual numbers. So if last night I got 7.5 hours of sleep, all I have to do is enter 7.5 in this cell. As you can see, when you enter your actual number, the percentage progress is calculated below. Also, because I met my goal of 7.5 hours of sleep, the goals reached number goes up to 1, and my streak for sleep becomes 1. Keep in mind, your streak begins counting only when you reach or exceed your goal, meaning your percentage progress should be 100% or more. If your progress tomorrow is 100% or more, then the streak will go up to 2. But if you don't meet your goal tomorrow, then the streak will reset to 0. Below the streak, you can see your momentum for this activity, which is currently showing 100%. Momentum reflects your pace in completing an activity based on the numbers you have entered so far, and projects your expected progress by the end of the month if you maintain your current pace. A momentum of 100% means you're right on track to achieve all your goals. If it's below 100%, you're falling behind. And if it's above 100%, you're on track to exceed your goals. This metric helps identify which activities are going well and which ones may need more focus. Below, for drink water, I can enter the amount I drank today. Let's say 4 bottles. Since I didn't meet my goal and my progress is below 100% for this activity, my streak stays at 0 and goals reached doesn't change. You can enter your numbers and come back and update them throughout the day. For example, if you do 3 kilometers of walking in the morning, you can enter that number, and if later in the same day you do another 2 kilometers, you can come back and update the number by simply selecting the cell and typing in the new number. If you need to delete an entry, simply click on the cell and hit delete or backspace on your keyboard. You can track up to 30 activities in this tracker. Once you've got your activity names and goals all set up, you can hide the empty activity rows. I'm going to hide rows starting from this one. To do that, I'm going to click on this row number, then scroll down to the last row that I want to hide, press and hold the Shift key on my keyboard, and click on that last row. The rows you're trying to hide should now be selected. Right-click on the selection and choose Hide Rows from the menu. You'll notice that this warning pops up, and in this case, you can click on OK. If you make a mistake, you can always use Command-Z on Mac or Control-Z on Windows to undo your changes. Now, I'm going to click away, and you'll notice these 2 triangles where we hid the rows. If you want to unhide the rows, you can click on one of these triangles, click on OK if the warning pops up, and then you'll see all the hidden rows again. Before I walk you through the different parts of the monthly tab, I'm going to change my computer date to a later date in the month and fill in some more numbers. I've now changed my computer date to March 27th, and entered my progress numbers for my activities. First, let's take a look at the dashboard section. If we scroll up to the top, you'll see the blue chart shows your average momentum for all your activities in the current month. Then we have these three green pie charts showing you your average daily, weekly, and monthly progress for all your activities. This chart on the right shows you your top 5 active streaks. On the left, you can see this month's start and end dates. Below those, you can see how many days are left in this month. Here, you can see how many activities you're tracking. And below that is the number of goals you have set for this month for all your activities. These goals are broken down into goals reached and goals remaining that you can see here. Remember, in order to reach a goal, you need to achieve a progress of 100% or more. In the center, you have this chart that illustrates your daily progress for all your activities, allowing you to visualize your average progress across all activities for each day. The percentages show your percentage progress for each day, and at the bottom, these numbers represent the days of the month. And lastly, to the right, we have a chart that by default displays your top 10 activities along with their progress. If you click on the drop-down arrow, you can switch the view to show your bottom 10 activities, highlighting the ones where your performance is the lowest. This chart is a useful tool to help you quickly identify which activities are going well and which ones might need more attention. Now, let's take a closer look at the activities section. Below each activity name and unit, you have the streak count and the momentum for that activity, which we've already covered. Here, you have your actual numbers, your goals in the colored cells, and your percentage progress for each day. To the right, you have your actual numbers, goals, and percentage progress for each week and the entire month. Note that you can enter decimal values for your goals and actual numbers, but in the totals, like these weekly and monthly totals, these decimals will be rounded in order to best utilize the available space. At the bottom is a progress bar that shows your monthly progress for that activity. The progress percentages and progress bars throughout the template are color-coded based on the percentage they represent. You can refer to the Quick Start Guide to see the color-coded breakdown for the progress here. Now, in the March tab, let's scroll down and take a look at the Overview section. This section shows you your daily and weekly progress averages for all your activities. And to the right is a weekly progress chart for all your activities. Next, we have this weekly tasks section. Here, you can plan and track tasks or activities that you don't measure using numerical progress. Simply enter your tasks under the respective week and then check them off when you complete them. For example, if I enter laundry here, you can see that the weekly tasks and the weekly tasks goals become one. If I enter laundry in the next week, the weekly tasks stays the same since it's the same task, but the weekly tasks goals becomes 2. I'm going to enter and check off a few more tasks and show you how the rest of the section works. All right, now I've entered and checked off some tasks. So here, you can see the month that this tab is for. Below is the number of weekly tasks you have entered, and below that is the number of weekly tasks goals. Below that, you can see how many tasks you have completed and how many you have remaining. To the right, you can see a pie chart showing you your total weekly tasks progress, and below that is a chart showing your weekly tasks broken down by week. The bright colors show you how many tasks you have completed, and the dimmed colors show you how many you have remaining. These weekly tasks are flexible, and you can add them at the beginning of the month, during the month, Or you can even pre-plan them by going through each monthly tab and adding them up front and then checking them off as you progress through the year. The last section in the monthly tabs is the notes section. Here, you can jot down any notes and thoughts you'd like and organize them throughout these weekly and monthly sections. One more thing I'd like to mention before we move on to the annual tab is if you add a new activity after using the tracker for a while, keep in mind that any goals set in the Setup tab will populate from your original start date. For example, if today is March 27th and I add a new activity with goals in the Setup tab, those goals will automatically populate starting from March 16th, which is the original start date I set. To prevent the template from counting missed goals for days before you actually started tracking this new activity, simply override these goals for those days by setting them to 0 in the custom goals section. This ensures that your progress isn't incorrectly marked as 0% for past days. And that is all for the monthly tab walkthrough. Next, we'll take a look at the annual dashboard tab. As you can see, I've only filled in numbers for March, so I'm going to add some more numbers for a few more months and come back and go over the annual dashboard. Here at the top, you can see your annual momentum. This works in the same way as the monthly momentum, except this chart projects what your progress will be at the end of the year, if you keep going at your current pace. Then we have the monthly progress. This chart shows your progress for the current month. Since my computer date is set to June, this is showing me the progress for the month of June. The quarterly progress shows your progress for the current quarter you're in. In this case, I'm in the second quarter, so it's showing me my progress for April, May, and June. And the last chart shows your total progress, which is the average yearly progress for all activities. To the left, the start date shows the date you started tracking your progress, and the end date shows the last day of the year. Then we can see how many days we have left in the year, the number of activities we're tracking, and the total number of goals we've set for the entire year. Below that, we can see the number of goals reached and the number of goals remaining for all our activities for the entire year. As you can see, this green chart displays your progress across different months of the year. To the right, there's a bar chart that shows your monthly progress. This chart also allows you to sort the months based on your progress. To do this, simply click on the drop-down and select Monthly Progress Sorted by Percentage. This will rearrange the months from best to worst performance, making it easy to see which months you performed the strongest and in which ones you didn't do as well. Below, you can see all the months and how many days are left in each. You can also see the days left for each quarter and for the entire year. Here, you can see your activities, along with the current streak and annual momentum for each activity. Under each month, you can see your actual numbers, your goals, and progress for each month. And to the right, you can see the same info for each quarter and then the entire year. The progress percentages are color-coded in the same way as the monthly tabs, and here you can see the total progress bar for this activity. The rest of the activities follow the same pattern. If you want, you can hide the extra rows in the annual tab the same way I showed you in the monthly tabs. Down at the bottom, you can see your progress for each month represented by these column charts, and your quarterly progress represented by these bar charts. Then, to the right, you can see a chart that shows your quarterly progress, so you can compare how you did in each quarter. The bottom section of the annual dashboard displays your progress for weekly tasks throughout the year. The first chart shows your goals for each month as a blue dashed line, your completed tasks are represented by the green columns, and the remaining tasks are shown by the red dashed line. The pie chart to the right shows your total annual progress for all your weekly tasks. Down at the bottom, you can see the total weekly tasks goals, and completed and remaining numbers for all your weekly tasks throughout the year. This pie chart shows you a breakdown of all your weekly tasks, and the final chart shows your top 10 weekly tasks sorted from highest to lowest. This wraps up our walkthrough of the annual dashboard. Next, we're going to take a look at the Analytics tab. The Analytics tab allows you to analyze your performance for any given activity throughout the year. All you have to do is select the activity you want from this dropdown. As you can see, the unit and the total number of goals for the year for this activity are shown below. At the top, the template will show you your annual momentum for this activity. The three charts show your monthly, quarterly, and annual progress for this specific activity. The chart to the right shows your actual numbers for this activity in bright colors, and the dimmed colors show the remaining numbers. For example, if we look at the month of March, my total goal for sleep was 122 hours, and since I got 109 hours of sleep, the difference of 13 hours is shown here in this dimmed color. This chart gives us the option to sort the months by numbers or percentage. If you choose monthly progress sorted by numbers from the dropdown, the chart will show you the months from highest number to lowest. For example, I got the most sleep in June with 223 hours. You can also sort the months based on the progress percentage, which will display the months with the highest percentage at the top and the one with the lowest at the bottom. This chart in the middle by default shows your numbers for each month. Using the dropdown, you can switch and view your progress percentage for each month. Here, you can see how many of your goals for this activity you've reached and how many are still remaining. Keep in mind, these are annual numbers for this specific activity. Down here, you can see the actual numbers, goals, and percentages for this activity for each month of the year. To the right, you can see the totals for each quarter and for the year. The breakdown by month pie chart lets you see your actual numbers for each month and the percentage they contribute to your total. Then here in the middle, we have the quarterly progress chart, which shows your actual numbers and the remaining numbers for each quarter. Similar to the monthly progress chart we saw above, this chart can also be sorted by both numbers and percentage. Then, similar to the monthly breakdown pie chart, here we can see the quarterly breakdown chart, which shows you both your numbers for each quarter and how much each quarter contributes to your overall progress. Remember, all the information you see here is specific to the activity you choose above. If we pick a different activity, these numbers and charts will all change to reflect the progress for that specific activity. If we scroll down, you'll see the monthly analytics section. This section allows you to choose a specific month and analyze your numbers for the activity you chose at the top for the month you select. You can select a month using this dropdown. By default, it's set to January. Once I change this to April, the template updates to show me the stats for sleep for that month. Here, I can see how many of my goals I've reached in April and how many are remaining. The daily progress chart allows you to see your numbers for every day of the selected month. Alternatively, you can use the dropdown to see the percentage progress for each day of the selected month. To the right, we can see the weekly progress for our selected activity for the selected month. By default, the chart shows the weeks in order, but similar to the charts we've seen above, you can sort these weeks by either your actual numbers or percentages. Here, you can see the actual numbers, goals, and percentage progress for each day of the month you select, and the weekly and monthly totals to the right. Down here, we have an overview section which shows you the daily and weekly progress for each day and week of the selected month. Finally, we have this pie chart with a breakdown of your actual numbers for individual weeks of this selected month. The Analytics tab with its charts and sorting options helps you pinpoint the weeks or months where you performed well and where you fell short for any specific activity. You can use these insights to adjust your plans, refine your goals, or make necessary changes to your activities and routines. The last tab we're going to cover in this tutorial is the Comparison tab. Just like the Analytics tab, we can pick the activity we want from the drop-down here. Below the activity name, you'll notice that we have the option to select the 2 months that we want to compare. By default, January and February are selected, but you can simply click on the drop-down and choose any 2 months that you want to compare. As you can see, when you select the 2 months, the information associated with the activity in those 2 months gets populated down below. You're already familiar with the info shown here, so let's review the 2 charts above. This chart shows you a comparison of your progress for the specific activity you chose in those 2 months that you selected. This chart by default is set to show your daily progress based on numbers, but you can switch the drop-down and view it based on percentage. To make the chart less crowded, the numbers and percentages are hidden, but if you click on the chart and move your cursor close to any point on the chart, it'll show you the numbers or percentages for that specific day for both months. To the right, we have a comparison by week chart, which compares your progress in different weeks of the 2 selected months. Since we started tracking halfway through March, you can see that the numbers for the first and second week of March are at 0. The final section of the Comparison tab is the Weekly Comparison section, allowing you to compare your progress between any 2 weeks of the year. The selected activity at the top is automatically shown here. Simply use these drop-downs to select the month and week for your first comparison, then do the same for the second. Your data for those specific weeks will then be populated, making it easy to compare your progress across different periods. As you can see, the chart to the right shows your progress for the selected weeks, and this chart can also be changed to show either numbers or percentages. That brings us to the end of the Ultimate Progress Tracker tutorial. By customizing this tool to your activities and lifestyle, you now have a powerful, flexible system to set personalized goals for different activities, track, measure, and analyze your progress, compare progress between any 2 weeks or months, and get a clear overview of your annual progress, all in an intuitive and easy-to-use format. Thank you for purchasing this template. I hope you enjoy using your progress tracker and that it contributes to growth and positive change in your life. This template took over 5 months to design and put together. If you appreciate the effort that went into it, please consider leaving a review. I'm dedicated to continuously enhancing this template, so to stay up to date on the latest improvements, new product releases, and useful tips and tricks, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you have any questions, suggestions, or run into any issues, do not hesitate to contact me. The link to my store and this product is in the video description. Thanks so much again, and best of luck on your progress journey.